Alright guys, I want to actual UFC bets. We did a pretty good job last time with the full crew, but guess what? Like and share, subscribe. If you don't like it, still like and share. Go ahead. Say what very, very make it a really strong very the reason why I'm kind of leaning toward Khan, and he's a really big underdog in this fight. So if you want maybe a little bit of a thrill, I would lean on him just because I am a big better and big person on when it's a ground guy versus a stand-up guy. Kind of favor the ground guy because if you shoot on him and you keep finding those angles and keep finding those opportunities and they go to the ground, they're going to be able to control it, man. Like they're just going to do ground control. They're just be able to ground and pound a little bit. And the judge is going to go, all right, well, if this guy can't stand up a toss, the points are to go over to Khan because they're just go, oh, he just keeps taking him down, keeps taking him down. So I favor him in that fight. It's not by a lot. I don't feel extremely confident, but that's something I would lean there is just Khan for a little upset there. I think he'll just the whole time do everything he can to make sure it goes to the ground. If he does, Muhammad might be in a little bit of trouble. Shamel also versus Thomas Peterson. It's a heavyweight fight. The big fellas. That's going to be pretty exciting one, guys. So 8 wins by KO for Shamel, 3 by submission, 8 first-round finishes. He's a big striker, actually former volleyball player. So he's a very good athlete, for people that didn't know that. And if you look at this guy and go, wow, he was a volleyball player, you're probably just as surprised as I am because holy hell does he not look like a volleyball player. He fights at Khabib's camp, though, so you know he's really going to bring it every single time. He's fighting Thomas Peterson, who's kind of a similar fighter in terms of striking. They're both guys that just really want to duel it out. There's going to be no ground game in this one, right? No jiu-jitsu, no wrestling. You're not going to see any of that with these guys. It's just going to be, hey, I'm going to knock the living snot out of you. You're going to knock the living snot out of me. Let's get it going, right? It's a good time. You know, it's something that they really want to market. In this fight, as much as I would love to say that Thomas Peterson stands a chance, and he does, I mean, it's UFC, anything can happen. I expect a short fight. I don't think either of these guys are going to let it kind of go very far. They're going to go for some kill shots, right? And for that, I kind of lean towards Jamal. I think his method of victory you can get right now is KO TKO. It's plus 100, so it's not much, but he's a 325 favorite. So, and he's out of Khabib's camp, man. And I don't know if you guys seen this, but besides Umar, called that, you know, if we want to do a little bit call back to last episode, we did call the Umar getting upset, if you will. It was upset in gambling odds to Merab. So we did call that little pat on the shoulder. As I said, I'll probably go 0 for 6 tonight. So who cares? But I like Shamil in this fight, man. I just think he's the better fighter. I think he's the better striker. And I think, again, he's going to want to make a statement and move up. And a lot of times with these guys, you know, Shamel's ranked 14th right now. He wants to keep doing that. Probably wants a top 10 to fight in that heavyweight class. And there's some really talented heavyweight fighters that he wants to fight next. So I'm going to go ahead and take him in that one. All right, moving on. We have Said versus Oliveira, man, bantamweight fight. So a little information about Said really quickly. 18-3, 4 KO/TKO wins, 6 submissions, 8 decisions, 9 first round finishes. He's won 4 of his last 5 fights, and 3 of those wins were by submission. He's a very well-balanced fighter. So he can strike you. He can take you to down the ground. Very good grappler. I wouldn't shoot on him. Very hard to kind of take down, especially recently with his submission wins. It's going to be really, really difficult. That being said, he's facing a guy in Oliveira that just won't go for it all. So he doesn't, you know, that probably won't be a part of this fight. And something about Said, he's never been knocked out or submitted. All 3 of his losses came by decisions. A little fun fact for you. So this guy, tough guy, he ain't going down. With Oliveira, if you look at him, 21-3. 16 KOs/TKOs, 14 first round finishes, all out, just very elite striker, 44% striking accuracy, with about 5.87 strikes per landed per minute. So very good fighter, very good striker. I think the 16 TKO KO says it all. If he catches you, man, you will probably be seeing stars and seeing a lot of them. You look like you're a cartoon character just with stars going all around your face. He had a flying knee. I don't know if anyone remember. It was a big highlight. I think it was, I can't remember the year, but he had a flying knee that was like, oh my God, it was pretty impressive. But he's on a 4-fight win streak, all were TKOs, KOs into the last one. This fight, I think the safest bet is for it to not go the distance, and I think that's like the safest option to go. But I think with those odds, you probably have to parlay that because everyone in this world knows that it's not going to go that far. That being said, let's see right here. I'm trying to look at how they'll fight. And decision is -110. Yeah, we'll go to distance. It's actually -120. No, so not that bad of an odds, to be honest with you. So I'd probably take that for the safest way in that fight. Other things that I would maybe lean towards is with Said's recent submissions and those wins he's recently been having, and with Oliveira's dangerous striking ability, I could see Said going, all right, let's take it to the ground, right? Let's go ahead and shoot for a submission. Let's go ahead and make it a ground brawl and kind of make it more grappling than make it a stand-up fight because, with the guy that talented, with the guy with that striking ability, you don't want him stand up and brawling with him, just won't go your way. So Said submissions +300. I think the more safer bet is that it's not going to distance at -120. But if you like, something juicy and you're like, hey, dude, I got some balls. I want a little bit of thrill. Then Said submission +300. I think that's pretty good, man. I don't hit on that at all. All right, this next fight, Sergey's fight. I am the only one on this God's green earth that likes Sergey, I think. Like, I'm the only person ever. And maybe that's good. Maybe that's bad because you never really want to be with the public. But, he's facing a guy that's on a 2-fight win streak. He's also, every time he stepped up in class, he's lost. Jalton, who was 6th in the world, he lost to. Volkov, 3rd in the world, he lost to. Curtis Blades, 5th in the world, he lost to. Gain, he lost to by decision. Francis Ngannou, he got KO'd. By the way, a lot of these fighters, a lot of these guys, anytime you step up in class against them, you're going to go down, right? Like, that's a murderous row of fighters. All those guys are, at their time of fighting, were probably top 5 in the world, if not top 10. It's another step up. I mean, it's another guy in Sergey that's currently ranked 4th. At one point, guys, he was like this really nice on the come up, just watch out for him, heavyweight fighter. And then now he ran into, a little bit of tough road, right? He lost 2 fights in a row, one to Alexander and one to Tom Aspinall. By the way, if you look at those guys, both those guys are insanely good, right? Like there wasn't upset fights, if you will, right? Tom Aspinall is probably going to fight John Jones, and I think he's going to win. I'm going to bet him to win that fight. But just to put it in standard, he's the guy that could probably be the solely guy that can take on the GOAT. Alex is another, weapon of his own mass. Sergey runs into those guys and is probably thinking now, all right, I'm 18-3. I have 50 wins by KO. I just lost 2. I need a bounce back fight. I need to, stay in the top 5 and keep my name forward with the best of them in the heavyweight division. I think he can do this in this fight, man. He's getting a bounce back win against a guy that every time he stepped up in class, he's failed. Why would I trust that here? Why not trust a guy that's actually been there, done it before, and has good wins over really good fighters? So I'm going to take Sergey in this. I'm going to take him to get a bounce back win. Again, I could be way off. I could be way wrong. And if I am, then I don't know, kick me in the nuts next time you see me in person. But I really like Sergey in this one, man. And he's a heavy, heavy favorite. But again, every article I've been reading, it's, Sergey's going down. This is the upset pick. This is the upset pick. Again, I could be way off, and I'm fine with being way off. And by the way, I'm saying this like the odds have him as underdog. No, Sergey's a pretty heavy favorite at -300. Even if you wanted to take him for a knockout, it's -275. So just, again, it's not really that fancy or that, value of a bet, but that's just something that's really stuck out to me that I wanted to mention. This will be probably one of the most entertaining fights on the card too, because these are both guys that really swing for him. And just to put a perspective of how exciting it's going to be, it's -650 for it to not go the distance. Like, it's going to be a doozy of a fight. So make sure you sit down and you get a good spot to watch this one because, boy, it's going to be a good one. So there's something to keep an eye on. I like Sergey. Is him for a KO it's not even fun odds. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's not even get you up in the morning. Yeah, it's minus 275. So if you want to lay 200, 275 juice, good for you. But hey, I'm not going to do it there, pal. All right, next one. Another one where kind of my favorite team comes into play, but if you want to listen to me on or not listen to me, it's totally up to you. It's Shara versus Michael Venom Page. People that don't know either of these fighters, so Shara is, well, fun fact, he can't fight in the United States because he's blind in one eye. And I know exactly if you're thinking, if you're like a casual UFC fan or just a casual like fighting fan, you don't really know who he is. He got struggling training in Thailand and kickboxing training, and you're probably like, oh, well, why would you ever bet on a guy with one eye? Dude, if you looked at this guy with one eye, you'd be like, I think he was a bad guy in the Expendables. I really, like, that's what you would think right away. But dude, he is a bad mother effer, man. He's 15-0, 12 TKO KOs. He has a tank. He swings for the fences. His kicks are quick. They're fast. You don't see him coming. And he finishes guys, man. And he fights Michael Venom Page. And again, if you're a casual, if you want to know a little bit more information about Michael Venom Page, very entertaining fighter. He fights with his hands down. He dances around the octagon. He showboats. He talks trash. He's a very fun fight to watch every single time. If you're just getting into UFC, like I highly recommend watching him just because, like I said, he's very entertaining in there, but he's an elite striker. So don't let the dancing and the bouncing around fool you. He's extremely, extremely dangerous. And with his fighting style, with how, unorthodox that is, how unusual it is, it makes it for a pretty hard fight because you're like, why is this guy fighting with his hands down? Why is this guy, dancing all on my face? It's very hard to get used to. And you've seen fighters kind of struggle to adjust to him, and it's very, goes in his favor. Kevin Holland was his first fight, and Holland's a very good striker, but you saw he just had issues with it, man. He's hard to hit too. He's very quick, and again, it's just uncomfortable. It's weird, and you don't really know what to do. That being said, his last fight was against Ian Gary, and Ian Gary kind of had a really good strategy in it. He just really just shot on him a lot and kind of took him to the ground, and that was pretty successful for him, and it worked out really, really well. I think in this fight, what Stroud has to do to beat him is, obviously, I don't think Stroud's going to shoot for him. I think he knows I can stand up and fight with anyone, and I think he can. I think the dangerous part is Michael Venom Page never stops moving, and he, has, very nice kicks. Again, like, punches are very good, very deliberate with his strikes. But if you constantly, kick him in the legs and kind of really target that lower body, he loses explosiveness. And you kind of saw in the Ian Gary fight, every time he got shot on, he kind of was losing his energy and he wasn't moving as quick. And you saw him kind of start to get tired a little bit. That's how you kind of beat him. So I think just with how good of kicks and how dangerous Shira is, he's going to do some damage to Michael Venom Page, and he's going to end up winning this fight. I think Michael Venom Page goes down in this one, man. I am a big Shira fan. I've bet on him multiple times. He's winning me a good amount of money. He's a slight favorite. I'm taking a lot of favorites in this, guys. And maybe just call me the favorite. Like, I don't know what I'm doing with it, man. I really wish I could tell everyone that I just love every single underdog. But I really don't, man. So he's a minus 200. That moved a little bit. He was not minus 200 yesterday. So method of victory for him for KO, TKOs plus 250. I think that would be a pretty smart bet. For it to go by decisions plus 125, because again, Venom Page is very hard to take down. He's a very experienced fighter. He's very hard to hit. It wouldn't surprise me if it goes the distance. That being said, Charles has crazy knockout power. I think he can clip him, and I think he can actually win this game and knock him out. So I'll take it for that one. Fresh odds at BetMGM right now, I'm pretty sure for is plus 250, so I would lean that way for that fight. But again, that's another fight, guys, where like you're going to go from Sergey to this fight back-to-back, just heavy hitters and just very fun fights to watch. So everyone that's listening to this and you're a UFC fan, man, you're going to be in for a hell of a treat. It's going to be a lot of fun, so keep an eye out for it. All right, let's go to the granddaddy of them all, and my favorite fighter, Israel Adesanya versus Nasruddin Imavov. I am struggling with these names, man. These names are tough, and boy, do you know I have a speech impediment. But it's a middleweight class fight. Israel Adesanya, not a lot has to be said, guys. Everyone knows who he is, but he's one of the best strikers we've ever seen. He's the only guy that's taken down Alex Pereira in the UFC. That says it all. Very technical fighter. He likes to get his reads in before he strikes. When you think you're about to tee off on him, he's about to tee off on you, man. So very good fighter. He's on a little bit tough losing streak. He lost at DDP. And DDP, by the way, the guy's beaten almost everyone, right? He never gets tired. He's a tank. It happened in that fight too against Adesanya, where he just kept coming and he lost. And for that, he lost to Sean Strickland. Adesanya was a minus 600 favorite in that one. And Strickland just put on a masterpiece in that fight. Like, he literally just boxed that whole fight. But I think just Israel Adesanya wasn't prepared for Strickland's pressure, and that's why he lost that fight. That being said, going into this, again, I'm a huge Israel fan. But I do know that Israel is pretty old. He's 35. He is the number one fighter in this division outside of the current champion. But if he loses this fight, it's probably done for him. He probably will never get a title shot again, just with his age and where he's at in his career. It's not going to happen for him if he doesn't win this fight. So he needs to take this one on, and he needs to win it. He faces a guy that's a very good fighter, man. I mean, his striking accuracy is 56%. And like Israel, very technical striker. He's also 28 years old, so he's 7 years younger than him. Has a little bit more of a chin. He has 3 straight wins in the middleweight division, all top 10 wins, and Brendan Allen and Jared Corner and Roman. He's a constantly moving fighter. He's very, very active, hard to get reads on, and he never stops moving, and he closes the distance the whole fight. That was something when he fought Strickland I think it was a couple years ago now. That was kind of hard for him, as Strickland's already in your face, and he couldn't, slowly get to his. It's like, oh, Strickland's, the fight just started, and I'm about to make out with him. We're so close. Not really, but you get what I mean. If there's an underdog to bet on this card, as much as it pains me to say it, I think it would be this one. Either plus 140 if you want to take it on the money line. Nassourdine probably is a good option to place for that. I'm not going to place it because, again, I'm such a big Israel fan. But if you want, like, maybe just a little bit of upset, I think it's this fight just with age, with striking ability. They're coming off 2 losses. One fighter seems like they're ascending. Israel's maybe declining with his age. This is the fight where you go plus 140. I'll take it. I'll grab it. And, I'll run to the bank. I'm not going to, because I love Israel and I want him to win this fight. But it's a very hard one for him. And maybe it's Nassourdine's time, and maybe it's time for Israel to hang it up. He did say in an interview, too, with Andrew Schultz. He's talking about it. He's like, yeah, I thought by 35, like, I'd be hanging it up. And now he's at 35 and thinking, I got a lot more to give. I think maybe a partial of that is he's lost 2 straight fights, and he knows with how good of a career he's had that he doesn't want to end it as, a loser. He wants to end it on a win. He wants to end it as champion. How everyone wants to go out, right? You want to go out as a champion. You want to go out on top. You don't want to go out on a 3-fight losing streak and being very well aware that you don't have it anymore. You want to go out on top. So this is Israel's chance at one last run, one last chance at a belt. And there's other fighters in this division that are coming, man. There's some killers that are coming in up. And if Israel's not ready for him, he's going to decline. And with his age, time's against him. Father Time's undefeated. But again, hearts with Israel. Money, if I had to take it, Nassourdine. Choose wisely. Choose wisely. Thank you guys so much for watching. Thank you for listening. I hope you had fun. If you didn't have fun, comment below. Hey, I had a sucky time. If you had a great time, comment. I had a great time. But appreciate you guys listening. Wages and Warriors with Mario Herron. Check it out on YouTube. Anywhere you get your podcast. Coming soon. Haven't figured that part out yet. And then if you're listening on the Bull Crew YouTube page, comment below. Go follow me on Wages and Warriors. Also, subscribe to the Bull Crew podcast with me, Dave Palais, and Josh Palais. Chargers podcast every Tuesday and Thursday. Really great stuff. A lot of fun. Also, check out Benjamin tonight, Monday through Friday, 7 to 11 p.m. Eastern on Twitch, on YouTube. Can also find it wherever you get your podcast. Super Bowl week's coming up. We're going to have a lot of fun guests on. So stay tuned for that. Big time guest. It'll be a pretty good time. So check this all out. Thank you guys all so much for listening. Follow me on Twitter at Mario23_Herron. Herron spelled Herron. The best way to spell it. And thank you guys so much for listening. We'll see you next time.